option of easy seats or cross-legged seat Sukhasana. You're welcome to sit elevated on a block or a pillow. You're also welcome to come to a butterfly pose. Bring the soles of your feet together, relaxing the knees down. Again, maybe sitting on a pillow to elevate and neutralize the pelvis. You are also welcome to start in hero's pose. Bring the legs back behind you, sitting on your heels, or equally sitting on a block. So just kind of starting to open up the hips from the very beginning. Whichever pose feels most comfortable to you, try to lengthen upwards through your spine, sitting as tall as you can, taking full deep breaths in through your nose, long complete exhales through the mouth. So the first few breaths, just kind of clearing out the breath, resetting the breath, resetting the mind, drawing attention and focus into your body and into your breath. If it's comfortable, allow your eyes to close softly. And then as it feels right, allowing your lips to lightly seal, gently enough that your teeth can still part. Your tongue might fall towards the back of your mouth. Soften the muscles of your throat, feeling your breath flow a little more freely, smoothly. Soften your shoulders down away from your ears. Gently drawing the shoulder blades down and in, so the front side of the body begins to open. See if here you have a little space to sit even taller. Grounding down through your sit bones. See if you can feel a gentle lift of your tailbone towards the back of your heart. Notice the subtle rise and fall of your shoulders. The expansion and contractions through your rib cage, chest, and abdominal area. Take these next few moments to go inwards, to check in with yourself both emotionally, physically, noticing where you are today in this moment. Full deep breath in, and a long complete breath out. From here, allow your eyes to slowly begin to blink back open, keeping your gaze soft. Turn your hands now so your palms are facing upwards on your knees. As you inhale, begin by circling your arms up, reaching the fingertips towards the sky, maybe looking up to see the thumbs touch. As you exhale, tracing your midline, center of your body, hands rest at the center of your chest. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, taking the arms out, up and in. Exhale, bringing palms down to the center of the chest. 1 more time. Inhale. As you exhale, let the hands pass all the way through the center of your body. Now returning your palms to your knees, a couple seated cat-cows. Hook your fingertips underneath your kneecaps, and as you inhale, draw your heart forwards and up, belly to spine, tailbone lifts to the back of the heart. As you exhale, gently tuck your tail, pull your heart to the wall behind you, let your shoulders roll forwards, chin and chest. We'll do 5 more of these. Inhale, heart forwards. Exhale, spine round. Last 4, inhale, and exhale. Following your breath with each movement. Last 2. And 1. And from here, inhale, lengthen, back to neutral. As you exhale, fingertips to the floor, start to walk your hands forward, taking your first forward fold, maybe of the day, maybe just of this class. Try to soften your shoulders down away from your ears. You could always have hands up on blocks. Feel free to walk further forwards than I have, or maybe not quite as far. Listen to your body. From your forward fold, take hands over to your right. Folding towards your right knee, try to sit a little heavier towards your left hip, pressing your left knee down towards the floor. Walk your hands back through center. From center, take your hands to the left. Now folding towards your left knee, try to sit heavier towards your right hip, right sit bones pressing down. Try to level through your shoulders. Notice if the right shoulder wants to hike higher than the left. Take one more breath here. Walk your hands back to center. One more full breath. Walk your hands back up, coming back to your seat. Inhale, once again, circle your arms. As you exhale now, we'll find a twist, taking your left hand over to your right knee. Your right fingertips will tent behind your right hip. Press down into your right fingertips, lift your heart, try to lengthen the spine even more. And then maintaining that length, exhale, look to the right. Try not to crank into this twist. It's still early. Maybe the head just simply gazes to the right rather than over the shoulder. And see if you can draw the twist itself from your ribs, from your shoulders, keeping your hips square. We'll take one more breath here. On your inhale, arms will reach back up overhead, unwind the twist. Exhale, now twisting the other way. Right hand to your left knee, left fingertips tenting behind your left hip. Sit tall, inhale, exhale as you twist. One more breath here. On your inhale, arms come back overhead. Release your twist. Connecting your palms, exhale, trace your midline, hands to the heart. From here, keeping your right knee bent, I'm going to lift the left leg and extend your left leg out into a half dragonfly or half straddle split. Feel free to reach for blocks. Those might come in handy. And from here, your right foot's going to come anywhere from the inside of your left thigh, down maybe towards your left shin, maybe the foot's further away from the body. So whatever is most accessible to you, find an angle on your left leg that is also safe. And if you feel any pulling sensation on your inner left knee, maybe bend the knee a little bit. You could even slide a block underneath or a pillow, and then flex your foot. So you're engaging the muscles around the left leg. Try to sit up nice and tall from here. I'm going to take another twist. Once again, taking your left hand across to your right knee. Right fingertips are going to plant behind your right sit bones. Press down, sit tall, inhale, lift the heart. Exhale as you twist. Good, now stay in a half twist. Your left hand will stay on your right knee. Now release the right fingertips, reach them out to the right, turning your palm up. From here, a side bend. We're going to take your right arm up over your right ear, reaching your right fingertips towards your left toes. This left hand is there to help spin the left rib cage underneath, spinning the right rib cage open as you reach. Hold for 3, 2. As you inhale, re-extend your right arm back behind you. Come back up to neutral, and from here, plant your right palm. Roll to the inside edge of your left foot. You'll feel the left hip lift. Sweep your left arm over your left ear. Reach to the left, and if you're wanting more, shift your way forwards towards your right knee and your right shin. Lift your hips, press your hips and heart forwards as you come into gate pose. Keep reaching through your left fingertips until you feel a stretch down the left side of the body. Hold for 3, 2, and take another breath in. As you exhale, slowly lower your hips back down to the mat. Come back to center and then fold. Walk the hands forwards. Now feeling a nice stretch down the inner left thigh and hip. Maybe going a little deeper in this forward fold than we did with the two-legged. Couple final breaths here. One more breath. Now walking your hands back up to seated. Once you get up to seated, we're going to shift your right shin forwards so that now your right shin is parallel towards the top of your mat. Slide your left hand underneath your left leg. Use the left hand to lift the left knee, and then we're going to take this leg back so we come into deer pose. Taking the left leg back behind you. The left knee is going to be about in line with the left hip. It might be a little more forwards if that's what's safest for your knee and hip. It might be a little further back for a bit more sensation in the front of the left hip. Heel placement is also completely up to your body. So the heel might be closer to your hip. It might be further away. From here, to feel a little more sensation, find your left hip bone and think about that left hip bone kind of rainbowing up, back, and down until your left butt cheek comes a little closer to the ground. From there, for a little more sensation, you might walk the fingertips back a few inches, start to lean back into your hands, and that's going to give you a little more sensation on the inner left groin. Take a couple more breaths here. Good, now we're going to walk the hands back in. Slowly coming back up to seated. Let the left hip lift. Now think about this left hip bone rainbowing up and forwards towards the right knee. From there, place your fingertips in front of your right shin. Again, you're going to fold forward, this time across the front of the right shin. So it's a little more like a pigeon pose. You could stay on fingertips. You could place blocks under your forearms, come to forearms. You could lower your forearms to your mat. I'm going to take 5 more breaths here. One more full breath. Now start to walk your hands back up. Once you come back up to seated, leave the right leg where it is. Feel free to bring the heel a little closer in if that feels more comfortable. I'm going to take your left hand behind your left thigh or left hamstring. I'm going to use your left hand to bring your left leg around and forwards. As you do, now we're going to give this left leg a little cradle. So your right hand's going to come to the outside edge of your left foot, cradling the arch into your right palm. Your left hand's going to come to your left knee, cradling the knee. Try to bring the heel and the ankle about the same line as the knee. It might be a little further down, but we're eventually working on keeping the shin nice and parallel. And then you want to try to bring this left foot towards your right armpit. From there, we're going to rock it back and forth. And if you wanted something a little more, you could take left arm, wrap the forearm around the shin, hooking the knee and the elbow. And you can also do the same with the left foot. So we're rocking that like you're rocking a baby back and forth. Let's take a couple more breaths here. Now the left hand is going to reach for the outer edge of the left foot. So your fingers are on the sole of the foot. I'm going to draw some circles here, circling the heel around as if you were circling a really big pot with your heel. So the knee is kind of traveling behind the hip, coming around and back forwards. Couple more of these. And then you'll reverse the direction of the circles, taking it the other direction until you're even on both sides. Good. Once you're even, we'll then set your left foot down. Go ahead and lift the right knee now. Both feet are going to come to the mat, walking your feet out about the width of your yoga mat. Toes can point out slightly. Take the hands back behind you now. Windshield wiper your knees a few times side to side to massage your glutes and release your hips. From here, coming back to seated. Now we're going to switch sides. You'll extend your right leg out into a half straddle. Bending your left leg in. Again, the foot can be anywhere from the top of the left thigh or right thigh down towards the right shin. You're going to have the foot further away from the body, or it could be touching the body. That's going to completely depend on your knees, your hips. From here, a simple fold forwards to begin walking your hands forwards. Now take your hands back up. And we're going to come into a twist now on your left side. Taking the left hand, or the right hand rather, over to the left knee. Left fingertips, again, are going to come behind your left sit bones. From here, twisting from your ribs, from your shoulders. Belly stays drawn in. Try to sit a little taller. Last couple of breaths. Again, staying mostly in your twist. Keep your right hand on your left knee. Reach your left hand out to the left. Turn your hand so the palm is open. And then inhale, reach your left arm up and over towards your right toes. Again, this hand here just kind of helps you to bring the right ribs forward, spinning the left ribs up and back. I'm going to take a couple more breaths. Use your next inhale, re-extend your left arm back behind you. Coming back up, plant your left palm outside of your left hip. Roll to the inside edge of your right foot, letting the right hip lift. Sweep your right arm over your ear. Now reach towards the back left corner of your mat. Stay here if you want more. Press the hips and heart forwards. Come up onto your left shin and your left knee. Deepen the length from the right heel all the way to the right fingertips. We've got a couple more breaths here. Good, one more inhale. As you exhale, slowly lower the hips back down. Sweep the arms around and forwards. Come back into your forward fold. Walking the fingers forwards. Just a couple breaths here. Walk your hands back towards your shin. Once you come up to seated, now we're going to scoot your left shin forwards. So it's a bit more parallel towards the top of your mat. Right hand will slide underneath your right knee. Lift your right knee. Once the knee is lifted, we're going to bring it back into deer pose. Crossing the right leg back behind you. Again, anywhere from the hip in line with the knee, or the knee slightly forwards of the hip. Or for a little more sensation, you're going to press that knee further back until it's in line or even behind the hip. And then think about finding this right hip bone. You're going to take it up, back, and down, bringing the right butt cheek now closer to the floor. You could stay right where you are, or for a little bit more sensation, again, start to walk the hands back. You're leaning back any amount. If you wanted to, you could come onto forearms. For me, it's already intense enough, so I'm going to stay right where I am. Couple more breaths here. One more breath. Now again, start to walk your hands forward. Keeping this leg right where it is, we're going to take that hip bone, take it up, forwards, and down. So you're almost trying to point your right hip bone towards your left knee. From there, fingertips come to the front of your left shin. Now you're going to fold forwards. Again, you could stay on fingers, you could come onto your blocks, you could come down to the forearms on your mat. So do what feels good for you here. I'm going to take about 5 breaths. One more full breath. And then begin to walk your hands back. Coming back up to seated. Once you do, right hand now, it's going to go underneath your right hamstring. Use your hands so you're not straining the groin to bring your leg around and forwards. Planting the foot, Come onto both sit bones. Now I'm going to lift the right foot. Your left hand's going to reach underneath, so the heel of the hand is at the arch of the foot. Fingertips are on top. Right hand's going to cradle your right knee. Again, try to get your ankle and heel in line with your knee, and then you're going to try to bring the heel towards your left armpit. From there, we rock. And if you want it a little more, right arm can wrap around, knee into elbow. For still more, right foot into the crook of your left elbow, and then you rock from there. From here, right hand's going to reach for the outer edge of your right foot. So now the fingertips are on the sole of the foot, and we draw big circles, stirring a really big pot with your right heel. Knee goes forward and back, and then just gets a little different stretch into your hips. And then back the other direction. Once you're even, take the foot, setting your right foot down, lift your left knee, set both feet down. Hands will then again walk behind you, windshield wiper your feet side to side, or knees. Now stay in this position, walk your feet in slightly and together until they're about hips width distance apart. Take your fingers, turn your fingers towards the wall back behind you. We're going to take just a little back bend here. So letting the elbow slightly bend, the spine's going to round, loop your shoulders up, around, and back, and then press into the palms and start to lift your heart to the ceiling, arching your back. Hips will stay down on this one, so just a little backward bend, kind of like you were sunning yourself on the beach. Keep lifting the heart to the ceiling. Hold for 3, 2, take an inhale. As you exhale, pull your low rib cage back so the shoulders and head can come forward. Walk your hands forwards, and you're going to give yourself a hug. Wrap your arms underneath your legs. Bring your forehead to your knees. You might round the back a little bit to get a spine stretch. Coming back up to seated. Last couple of things from here. Now go ahead and extend your left leg forwards out in front of you. Coming into a seated figure 4 position. Now take your right ankle, cross it over the top of your left knee. Make sure it's not on the kneecap, but it's above the knee. If that is not accessible, have the ankle below the knee, so you're not resting on the kneecap itself. If your ankle is below the knee, take this no further. You can always just fold forwards to go a little deeper. If it's above the knee, we're going to take this deeper by taking your fingertips back behind you. Slowly start to bend your left knee until the left foot is on the floor. So we're slowly drawing your right shin closer to your chest. We're going to let this kind of windshield wiper now side to side. So again, if you needed to keep that left leg extended, you're staying where you are, just forward folding. Good. Now, the next time your legs windshield wiper to the left, we're going to let them come all the way to the left. Stay here. Come on to palms. Press down through your left foot. Inhale your legs to center. Walk the hands a little further in, closer towards your hips. So you're starting to press your chest towards your right shin. We'll hold here a couple more breaths. Good. Now let your upper body release. Make it easier to re-extend your left leg forwards. From there, lift your right knee, extend your right leg forwards. Give your legs a little bounce, draw some circles, taking the feet away from each other, around and back together, and then going in the other direction. and then second side. Now bending your left knee, keeping your right leg extended. Again, if the ankle cannot come above the knee, you're going to have that ankle below the knee and stay right where you are, maybe coming into a simple forward fold to go deeper, but you won't do the next part. If your ankle is above your knee, you'll walk your hands back, start to slide the right heel in until your right foot is on the floor. You're in seated figure four. Hands are back behind you, but there should be just a little bit of weight in the hands, so we're not putting all that pressure in the wrists. And then we're going to windshield wiper a little side to side. So just going to move the stretch a little bit differently through your hips. Good, and then we'll let the legs go all the way to the right this time. So the sole of the left foot's going to come to the ground. You can walk the hands in a little closer. Again, trying to have light weight on the hands so we're not really putting all that weight on the wrists. And then think about kind of pressing your left knee away from your body to deepen. Get a couple more breaths here. Again, use your hands for support. Press into your right foot. Use an inhale. Draw your legs to center. I'm going to hold center one more time. Couple breaths. Walking the hands now closer towards the hips. So we're pressing your chest closer towards your left shin. And then letting the upper body back away. Slowly re-extend your right leg. Left leg will then extend. Sit up nice and tall. Again, bounce your legs. Windshield wiper your feet. And then draw those in and out circles, taking the feet away from each other, around and back together again. It's going to help to release the hips a little bit more. Give the legs one more final bounce. Have a block handy. And then we're going to lie down from here onto your back. Something a little stronger. You might go one vertebrae at a time. If you're having any back issues, lower back pain, maybe you roll to the side and ease to your spine that way. Once you're on your back, give your knees a hug into your chest. We're going to draw some circles here, starting first with the knees together, circling your knees around your hips so we massage more into your low back. A few circles one direction, a few circles back the other direction. And once you've circled both directions, now we're going to take in and out circles, placing your palms on your kneecaps. Take the knees into your chest. Start to open them around and back together again, back into the chest. This one massaging a little more into your hip flexors. Few circles in one direction, and then take the circles in the other direction. Good. Once you're even, draw the knees back into the chest. Have the knees a little wider though, so you're getting a little deeper into the hips. Maybe a little rock side to side. And then keeping your knees bent, lower your feet to the floor. Walk your feet in until they're about hip-width distance apart. I'm going to take a couple of practice bridge rolls before adding a block for supported bridge. So just make sure that block is within handy reach so you don't have to turn your head to find it. Making sure the feet and knees stay hips-width distance apart. Hands are going to start on your mat, outside your hips. On your next inhale, start by just gently tucking the tail, drawing your navel towards your nose. Use that range of motion to press into the feet, then start to lift your hips until you start to go towards the base of your rib cage. Once you hit the base of your rib cage, you'll then exhale as you lower back down. Try to keep your tail tucked so that your tailbone's the last thing to reach the floor. Good. Again, inhale, little tuck of the tail. So you start to roll up one vertebrae at a time. Maybe you start to come higher up the rib cage towards the backs of your shoulders. And then again, exhale, lowering from the backs of the shoulders through the ribs all the way until the tail touches last. I'm going to do 2 more here. Inhale. Like a string, we're lifting you upwards, just gently lifting like a bicycle chain. And then exhale like a bicycle chain, slowly lowering down until the chain is flat to the floor. One more time. Inhale, roll it up. And then exhale, roll it down. This time you'll reach for your block. And as you inhale, roll up your hips. I'm going to keep the hips lifted. Slide your block underneath your sacrum. You could be at the smallest setting, the white, wide, flat, long side across the sacrum. You might turn the block up 1 notch, so the skinny long side is across your sacrum. Make sure you go no further than 1 or 2. We're going to rest here, just kind of letting the hips go nice and heavy. From here, you could stay right here if this is enough for you. If you're wanting a little more sensation on the front of the hips, start to walk your feet forwards. And you might walk them forwards just a couple of inches to where your knees are still bent and the feet are still on the mat. You might begin to continue to walk the legs forwards until maybe the legs extend forwards. The toes are going to point forwards. You're going to feel a lot of sensation around the hip bones. If you feel this in your low back, please keep a bend in the knees so the feet are on the floor to support. Not all that weight is pulling on the low back. We're going to hold here about 8 more breaths. Wherever you are, you might turn the palms upwards. That's going to help to open across the front side of the body just a bit more. Full deep breaths. One more full breath. And then start to walk 1 foot in at a time until both feet are back down to the floor. Use the feet, press down, inhale, lift your hips, remove your block from underneath. 1 vertebrae at a time, start to lower the spine back down. As your hips touch your mat, you're going to heel toe your feet out, almost the width of your yoga mat. Bring the knees together to touch, find your teepee. A little rest here for the low back and hips. Again, draw your knees into your chest. You're going to keep them still wide. Once again, hands could go tops of the shins, behind the knees, hugging your knees into the chest, maybe a little rock side to side. And then still keeping your feet nice and wide. Lower the feet back to the floor. As the feet touch the floor, we're going to take your legs over to the right into a staggered twist. So the feet are still wide apart. Your left knee is going to be towards the center of your mat. Your right knee is going to be off wide. Arms are going to open out into a wide A or T position. And for a bit more, you're welcome to place your right heel above the crease of your left knee, letting the weight of the right leg open a bit more into this left hip. For still more, you might reach your left arm slightly over your head, cactus, or diagonal. If your right foot is lifted, set the right foot back down. Inhale your legs to center. Make sure the feet are still wide apart, width of your mat. Now we're going to take the legs all the way to the left. Letting the knees fall, staggered, feet are still wide. Left knee off the edge, right knee towards center. For a bit more, left heel above the crease of your right knee. Let the weight of the left leg draw the right knee down. If that's too much, keep both feet on the floor. For a little bit more, right arm can reach over your head at a diagonal or a cactus position. If your left foot was lifted, set the left foot back down on the floor. Inhale your legs back to center. Arms back to a neutral position. Adjust your hips so that they feel centered with your shoulders. Take a couple wide-kneed, wide-footed windshield wipers side to side. Let the arms start to fall out a little wider, maybe that wide A or T position. And then slowly extend one leg towards the top right corner of your mat, the other leg towards the top corner of your mat. Flex and point your feet a couple of times. You might circle your ankles, just getting out any last pops and kinks. And then let the feet fall heavy and wide. Walk your shoulders down. Maybe the shoulder blades tuck underneath you a bit. And then as you exhale, just let your entire spine melt to the floor. Chin's going to tuck slightly, just enough to add some length to the back of your neck, but not enough to change your airway. Allow your palms to fall open and heavy so the fingertips can just lightly curl. If they're not already, maybe softly close your eyes, feeling the tickle of your eyelashes on the tops of your cheeks. Take a full, deep breath in, and take a long, complete breath out. Start to go back inwards, listening to the sound of your breath, listening to the subtle messages of your body, feeling the floor beneath you, the air above you, your clothing against your skin, and the movement of your breath. Feel free to remain here as long as you like. As you're ready, just slightly wiggling fingers and toes. Inhaling into a full body stretch. Exhaling, bending your knees. And then rolling to either your right or left side. Whichever side feels best for you today. Again, feel free to stay just as you are. But as you're ready to move on with your day, allowing yourself to slowly press up to seated, gaze soft, body soft. Thank you all for joining me today.